Okay, so before I actually get into the meat of this video, just need to point out, I just took a drink of water. I'm going to need every single drop of water from this 600ml bottle to get me through this, because this is probably going to be a long-ass tangent explaining what the hell is wrong with me and what causes this shit. And I'm probably going to have to do multiple takes, because there's going to be certain sections where I find it very difficult to come up with words to describe this, like the situations that I get in and the feelings that I get. But I will try my best. So basically, I'm going to start by elaborating a little bit further on what the hell I do to actually get money. Basically, I sit on my ass and occasionally go to see someone that helps me to get a job. But to actually be on the long stretch of it, I get a payment from this, I don't think it's supposed to be like government. If you're living in the US, I suppose you'd sort of call that welfare or something like that. I'm not too sure if you have anything similar to us. I'm pretty sure you might, but I got no idea. We're just you've got your own system. We've got ours. That's just pretty much all you need to know for that. So in order to keep that, of course, I have the fortnightly income report stuff, and then I have to go and see the job service provider. Blah 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 blah. And so basically, when oh jeez, hang on. See, this is the difficulty. Just give me a sec. Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge to get this across, but I'm just trying to like word it differently to the way I worded it in the previous video, but I really shouldn't, just to be blunt. I have to look for 12 jobs a month, and if I don't, I risk getting my pay cut off. Now, if I was with a mainstream job service provider, it would literally only take one of those failures to have me cut off, and then bam, that's it. But because I'm with what's known as a disability employment services provider, I have multiple chances. This provider I'm with specifically works with people that have disabilities. I have what is considered a disability in their books, because I have what's called PDD-NOS, which I believe stands for Pervasive Developmental Disorder Not Otherwise Specified. Long story short, it is autism, and it's not like actual autism, but at the same time, it's not Asperger's. It's kind of, the best way I could describe it is something in between. Basically, I have symptoms of Asperger's, and those were the most evident. That's why my guidance counselor at school suggested that I be tested for Asperger's, and then I found out that I just didn't. But I'm not like full-blown autism. Like, if you've seen what full-blown autism is, then I'm not that sort of, I was going to say I'm not that bad, but I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be like, speak mean about people or anything like that, but, so, while I can function normally, I do have a whole bunch of different complexes that have been built up over the years. So basically, I like to do things at my own rate, at my own sort of pace, and going to these appointments usually involves me having to do stuff that goes really, really far out of my comfort zone, and at a rate that I just can't really keep up with, which is one of the first things that really friggin' annoys me about having to go to those appointments. The second thing is that I have trouble, actually have trouble doing certain things that most people would consider to be just about second nature. Like, I actually can't take public transport by myself. It's really, really stupid. It seems irrational, but that is the case. I don't know what's built up with it. Like, I haven't traveled a whole lot by public transport in general, let alone by myself. I believe I actually only ever I've only ever had 2 bus rides by myself, and that's literally it. Every other very minute stage of public transport has been with friends. So, friends or family, something like that. In that case, I'm comfortable, but by myself, I'm a lot more nervous about it. I'm very much anxious about it. Very similar sort of thing with phones. Like, if I get a phone call, and if it's from a family member or a friend, I will answer it immediately, just because, I mean, I know exactly who it is. If it's a phone number that I don't recognize, then I'm not going to bother answering it. That actually, to be perfectly fair, that's probably a bit more rational than the public transport thing, just because people don't want to answer the phone and then find that they've and then hear the voice of some bloody weirdo debt collector trying to bloody get money off you on the other end. That's just kind of disappointing. We don't have to deal with bloody telemarketers either. Especially us down in Australia, we have to deal with ones that don't necessarily have the greatest of English. I'm not too sure if other countries have that sort of thing. But apparently it's a thing in Australia. So, I mean, that makes sort of sense. And basically the way I react to things is it's kind of weird sometimes. Like, I've learned to be patient and whatnot. I am not completely opposed to the idea of change. But basically the way I reacted, like, in the lead up to having to hand in this form, like, I have this form that's got, like, that in which I list down the 12 jobs I do a month. And I had to hand that in by, like, I had an appointment earlier this week. A couple of days before that, because I actually couldn't do anything about that appointment, because I had to do that, but at the same time they were going to be like, yeah, we'll fix up your resume so that you can hand it in, like, so you can submit it and whatnot, and you can apply for the jobs and blah 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 blah. That didn't happen, and that really pissed me off. It grinded my gears, and basically the only way I could actually respond to that is lots of worry, a considerable amount of fear that I was going to lose my payment, and so as a result I just about had a mental meltdown, which really sucked, and was very unfortunate. It would have been a lot more unfortunate if I actually had a meltdown, because I'd have probably gone to flip tables, broken shit, and it would have been a lot worse, basically. So, I literally just decided to stop giving a fuck, and so I went there. I actually had to take my dad with me, because I was in I was in such a horrid position mentally that I actually had to get my dad to talk to the job coach for me. Thankfully, though, she was rather compassionate about this whole situation. She accepted it, and we just sort of had a chat with her about it, and we was just like, okay, well, we've made an attempt to make our own resume, so we'll try to work with that and maybe do something for the future. Now, as far as I know, I don't have any sort of thing telling me to look for another 12 jobs over the next month yet, as far as I'm aware. So that's one sort of load off my back. The other is the fact that I don't have another appointment till December. So that's a thing that I can sit back on and relax on. And I plan on completely and utterly doing that and not doing any videos. Because I'm still feeling rather depressed and rather lazy. I'm very much lacking in motivation to do videos in general. Only reason I'm doing this immediately after the previous one is because everything was up. I figured might as well just stick with it and just, sort of keep going with it. Basically just stick with the momentum there. Just a sec. Sorry about that. Ripping my throat apart while I'm trying to explain things. Does not quite help my cause, evidently. So, basically, once I get my train of thought back, which I completely and utterly lost, so let's just move on to a tangent about bagels, why don't I? I have to keep talking about bagels. I'm bloody too much picked up on a bus influence there. But anyways, so once I've gathered this train of thought back, or at least tried to find a way to segue, and I believe I sort of have, basically just sort of, I haven't fully recovered from it, from the ordeal that I had in the lead up to this appointment. I don't have another appointment till December, so I can just sit back and do that. I don't know. It's basically just, I want to try to get some motivation back, And I feel like the best way to do that is just to sort of sit back, relax, and do things only when I really want to, when I feel that I need to. That doesn't sound like something particularly grand because, or it doesn't even sound like a great idea because I could just dig myself into a hole, get myself even more depressed, and then things go even further south. But I feel like it's worked for me before. I feel like it will work for me again. The other thing as well is that I'm in the process of filing a application to try to get onto a disability pension, which will yield some more, which I'll get paid more for that, which, I mean, that's probably the main allure of it, to be perfectly honest. But if I can get if I can put up enough evidence together that I have this thing, it's going to be permanent and it's going to really be debilitating on my abilities to work for a job, I may be able to sit on that, hopefully be able to sit on that, and then maybe once I feel confident, I may actually be able to, you know what, let's take a crack, I'll go for it, I feel like I might be able to get over my problems, let's go for a job. As for when it's going to happen, I've got no idea, because once again, I work at my own pace. I don't have anybody, I don't like to have anybody like try to quicken me up or anything. I try to work at my own pace. If I feel like I can work at a higher pace, then I'll obviously do that. That's how I managed to get my year 12, because I was able to navigate that sort of stuff. Which actually now reminds me of another issue that I have, which I don't necessarily think I can blame the autism for, but it's another sort of mental complex that I developed. I actually can't study. Because I found that if I don't take any interest in something, even if I try to study it, it essentially just goes in one ear and out the other. And like some of the information I do catch and keep in my head, but I basically have pretty much bare essentials there, and from there I just wing it and somehow get a B standard for my English and my maths, which I'm a standard with myself. So yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of planning there. I couldn't do much. That's actually stopping me from getting a driver's license, because there's not really much about the road code that interests me. So even if I try to go through the entirety of a road code like 12 times, I'm still probably going to end up forgetting just about everything. But when the day of the test comes around, I'm just going to be like, oh shit. There is a bit of a plight. My only real excuse that I use for not having a driver's license is just like a generic sort of, driving is overrated or some shit. I actually had some person tell me that was actually just about true in their opinion. So it's kind of amazing that I could actually get somebody to agree with me on that one. So I guess that's kind of cool. But basically, once I have regathered my train of thought, because once again I keep losing my train of thought and going on slightly pointless tangents, but I've been able to do this for like 13 minutes, so hopefully I'll be able to do this for a little bit longer, because I don't want to end the video now and just be like, yeah, so that's my problems and stuff like that, because I don't feel like I've gotten absolutely everything I possibly can out and actually into this recording. Because I haven't even mentioned anything about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, I pretty much covered the most of it in the previous video. The other thing that's actually, and I guess I should probably maybe re-elaborate a little bit on it, is the fact that I have burnt myself out on this game, which has kind of killed off my creative abilities in regards to putting decks together for this game. Because the other thing that pissed me off is that I actually had some really, really rotten luck in the previous tournament that was on the Thursday. Like, I still got top 4, but I basically got swiftly 2-0'd by Major Spectres in top 4. My only other loss was to Clifford, and I bricked. I was playing Satella Knights, and out of about 3 dozen test hands, at least like 30 of them I opened Altair and or Deneb. Like, a handful of the times I actually opened double Altair, or I just opened Altair Deneb. It was very, very stupid. Like, I maybe only got like 2 or 3 good hands to work with in Tellarknights, so I don't know how the hell people keep functioning in Tellarknights. Either that, or I just had some really, really rotten luck. But I guess, you know, if you have an off day, if you have an off day, if you have an off day, blah 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 blah. Like the other thing that actually pissed me off as well is that I was playing Evil Swarm. I was playing a bit of a practice match, and once again Brecht. Evil Swarms are a bit more understandable because they're not quite as consistent. But good God, I was really hoping for that to actually work out. And you know, my mind was all over the place. I actually stopped giving a fuck by the time I went to top 4, and I actually just played really, really bad, and I just didn't give a shit. Because by that time, I actually realized that I was pretty much burnt out on the game, and I had to take a break from it. Because, you know, I feel like I've been focusing so much more on Yu-Gi-Oh! And not on anything else. Like, occasionally I've done a couple of bits and pieces on RuneScape, but for the most part, it's just been daily challenges. I think I had one day a couple of days ago where I managed to do a couple of Slayer tasks, and that's about it. But I have not been focusing on much other than Yu-Gi-Oh! And when you focus on the one thing almost exclusively, you tend to get burnt out on it, and you tend to kind of get annoyed by it and have to take a break from it. So that's basically what I feel like I have to do. I feel like I have to take a break from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because earlier today I was actually putting together all the bits and all the cards and stuff like that I had that Yugi used. Basically, I wanted to try to build a number of different Yugi decks, like for a Duelist Kingdom one, a Battle City one with the gods, one with Tamaya, something like that. I actually couldn't come up with any concrete ideas. I couldn't even put my focus entirely on the deck building. So the fact that I can't focus means that I definitely need to take a break from this game. It doesn't exactly help that I'm depressed, because that just makes things even more likely to happen, and so as a result it has in fact happened. So I guess having said that, that is ultimately it for what I'm trying to say here. Let me take another drink. Surprisingly enough, I'm not even halfway through this bottle, and I've been able to navigate perfectly fine so far. But I do believe I've gone through just about everything. I don't want to have to like come up with any sort of other things that I need to explain. I think I've explained my autism relatively well enough. I think I've explained what's happened over the last month or so well enough. I think I've gone and fully explained what the hell is actually causing this hiatus, and I just hope that the people can understand my sort of situation that I'm in. I know I have a couple of friends that have Asperger's, and you know, maybe I can sort of learn from their experiences, and you know, maybe try to actually jump in the deep end or something like that, because I guess that's the one thing I've been sort of fearing the most. I think that's about as far as stuff I wanted to at least disclose for this video. It has gone on for about 18 minutes. If you've stuck with me through this, then I'm hella grateful for it. I'm actually just pretty happy that people decided to take the time to sit back, have a cuppa, and actually listen to some person go on a tangent and probably whine and bitch and whatnot. So I do thank you for that. And I do hopefully expect to see some more videos. I hopefully do expect to see some more motivation to do videos sooner rather than later. That being said, I still maintain the belief that I'm probably not going to be doing anything for the rest of this year. Unless I finally get the motivation up to sort of go for an LP. But honestly, who knows? Like, I could get the motivation tomorrow and just start, and then just stick with the momentum, and then who knows? I can definitely tell you though that since I haven't burnt out on the Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm definitely not going to be doing anything further with Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. I might not even be doing anything further with Yu-Gi-Oh until like Breaker's Shadow, to be perfectly honest. So, if you subbed for the Yu-Gi-Oh, then I guess you don't have to put up with my shit for a while. I mean, unless you're interested in the LPs as well, in which case you get to listen to me go on a tangent in the background of a game which I may or may not like and enjoy, or have like fresh memory of. Oh crap. Yeah. Okay, so I believe I might have gone and fucked with the volume of that, but now I'm going on pointless tangents, but I guess this is sort of to be expected. I feel like this is another sort of symptom of my depression, because I've been going on about it for Lord knows how long, and I actually have had other bouts of depression in the past, so it could well be a chronic thing, so honestly, who knows. I think I'm about done now, because I'm up to the 20-minute mark, so again, if you've listened all the way through, then I do express gratitude, and I can really just hope that I receive the support of my viewers, my subs, my blah 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 blah, going into the future. So if I don't do another video until next year, then I guess the obligatory, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, blah 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 blah, even though it is in November, but kind of have to keep all bases covered, I guess. So that would be about it. See you for whatever it is that I do next.